Hey BookTube, my name is Kate. This is my channel, Chapter Kate. Today I'm going to be doing my May wrap-up. There were some successes and not so much successes. Yep. So I'm going to try and go in order of the ones I finished, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the ones that went to my DNF list. First off, we have Nod by Adrian Barnes. I'm not going to talk about this one because I did a full review, but essentially everyone in the world forgets how to sleep, and I keep talking about it because I really love this book, and it was awesome. Second, we have Thunderhead by Neal Shusterman. Probably something wrong. I don't know how to say his name, but I'm trying. So, this is a sequel to Scythe, and it is a prequel to the next book, which name I forgot at this moment. But it's really good. It's basically a utopian society where they've beaten war and they've beaten sickness and they found a way to revive people when they die. So the problem is overpopulation, essentially, is the problem that arises. And there's basically a society of scythes who glean people, which is essentially permanently killing them. And the series sort of follows them as well as some of the conflicts that arise in their organization. Was that lightning? Oh, nah. Next, lightning and the thunder. The next one is A Gathering of Shadows by V. Schwab, the author that I tweeted and humiliated myself in front of on accident. This book is another sequel to A Darker Shade of Magic. Yep, I almost said that wrong. A Darker Shade of Magic, and the prequel to A Conjuring of Light. It is an amazing book. There are so many cool things that happen in this book, and I already talked about it a little bit. I forgot what video that was in. I don't remember. I think it was mine. Pretty sure it was my tag. I don't know. But this book is freaking amazing. I've already talked about it, so I'm not going to talk about it again, but there are pirates and magic, so do it. Just do it. Next is The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. This book is written in slam poetry style. It's about a Dominican girl named Xiomara who falls into slam poetry as a way to sort of escape from the difficulties in her life and difficulties that she experiences with her family expectations, with religious uncertainties, with societal judgments of her based on her development, based on her race, based on everything. So it is just a really great coming of age sort of story. It gives you closure at the end, and that you don't get that sometimes with books, but I feel really at peace with the ending of this book. And also look at this gorgeous cover. Look at that. So pretty. But I feel like this book is also really relatable in the issues that she does go through with her family for a lot of people, because it's issues that most families go through at some point, maybe in different ways, but I think it addresses some things that are very down to earth and very accessible to a lot of readers. The next one is Illuminae. It is the first in the Illuminae files. It's also written in a kind of a non-narrative way, in basically like logs, chats, emails, reports, things like that. I really did love this book and the story. I didn't realize it was an outbreak story, and I'm not a huge fan of outbreak stories. And I also had a couple of issues with just reading, because it is gorgeous and it has, you know, different images as well as interesting typography in it. However, sometimes the words get really small and they move around the paper like that, and while that's appealing, it's not super accessible to me. I have an eye situation that makes it sometimes hard to track words when I'm reading, and so when I come across something like this and I'm trying to read it, it gives me a headache and it's really hard to see. There's also occasions where the background is black and then one person's words are white, one person's words are gray, but the gray is not different enough in the background to make it easy to read. So there's just a couple of accessibility issues with this. If you have any visual difficulties, it's kind of difficult at times. Just a warning, but it is a really good story and it's really well made. And it's very unique. Next is Isle of Swords. I'm going to be doing a whole review on this because I just have too many things to say, as you can see here. I color code my flags and I hate the color pink. So if that tells you anything. It's about pirates, which I was excited about, and the story's not terrible. It moves along. There's a pirate and his daughter, and he wants to kind of get out of piracy, but she really wants to be a pirate. And then there's a young boy who wakes up on a beach and doesn't know who he is and has amnesia and has to kind of learn about who he is. And the premise of the story is really cool. There's just a lot of issues with this book that I personally just got frustrated with, but it wasn't bad enough to where I couldn't finish it. So I did enjoy it enough. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a whole review of this. Oh, and it's by Wayne Thomas Batson. I realize now that I haven't been saying the authors' names of these, but I will put that in the description. And that's all for the books that I have finished this month. Next, I'm going to talk about the books that went on my DNF list, so the books that I did not finish. One is The Soul of an Octopus. The reason I did not finish this is because it says a surprising exploration into the wonder of consciousness, and I know it's about octopuses, but I thought that perhaps they were going to use that as a way to talk about consciousness in general, and I thought it was going to be a little bit more deep, and it turned out being a lot of maybe conjecturing is the word. We'll find out if that's correct after the video. But it's really just stories about octopuses, and I love octopuses, but I don't really want to read it in a book form. It's more like something that I'm going to research randomly at 3 o'clock in the morning when I can't sleep. So this was hard. I just really couldn't get through it, and maybe I'll read it again later and pick it up. It's just maybe now is not a good time for me to read this. So this bitch, Anne Bonny. I was so excited because Anne Bonny is one of the coolest characters in history. She was a female pirate. She was a badass. I loved her, like reading about her just in articles, watching her on Black Sails, and she's such a cool character in history, and this just was not well done at all. It's one of those cases of they want to tell you instead of show you things. I could not make it very far. Then it talks about another person in history, and there's 2 chapters that's basically just his biography that you could find on Wikipedia. It's not a novelization at all, and it's supposed to be. The way it's written is terrible. It's like, he was sad. He was, like, it's just, it shouldn't, there's so much wrong with this book, and I just could not read it. It was bad, and I was so disappointed because I wanted to like it so bad. And now for the 2 books that I'm still working on, but not, like, very dedicatedly. The first is Treasure Island. Started reading this, because I couldn't finish Anne Bonny, and I was like, I gotta get another pirate book in. And I'm a little over halfway through. I'm just not feeling it right now. It's okay, but it's obviously not very female inclusive because it was written for his son, and his son didn't really want women pirates in the book, and I like female pirates. And so that's one issue I have with it. And then also, I love watching pirate shows, but I can't stand to read language like when pirates are speaking in here, and it's like the way that things are written is just like annoying to read. So maybe I'll come back to this, or maybe I'll listen to the audiobook to finish it. It's not that much left. I just kind of don't feel super excited about it, so I haven't really been forcing myself to read it. Not to mention, I kind of hit a reading slump when my mood swan dived, but it's getting a little bit better day by day, so hopefully I'll be able to kind of jump back into that. And the next one that I am working on and that I am pretty excited about is The Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher. It's her biography. She has actually a couple of books about her life, but this one is specifically about her time auditioning and filming, Star Wars movies, and it's about her affair and experience being the other woman with Harrison Ford. And I just think it's really cool because I've always really connected with her on a psychological level, and because I'm a huge fan of Star Wars, so there's a couple of different things that just make me love Carrie Fisher. That just make me love Carrie Fisher. So I am kind of excited about finishing this one. I'm a little over halfway through this one as well, so this one will probably be finished next. And that is all for my maybe wrap up. Most of my books that I talked about had kind of a 5-star review from me, except for Isle of Swords, which was about a 3, and Illuminae, which was about a 4 because of the visual issues. But I am hoping to finish those 2 books that I already kind of started, this week, and then I'm going to jump into the rest of my summer TBR. I also had my husband pick my next book to see kind of what he would pick for me, so he picked World War Z, and I'll be reading that next, hopefully. We'll see. If you would like more of this junk, go ahead and hit subscribe below, and bye!